Hello and welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for fantasy Premier League content for the 2021-22 season. My name is Dan and today we are doing a Game Week 26 episode of Buy, Sell, Keep, Avoid. A pretty interesting one because it is of course a double game week, so plenty of double game week decisions to be made this week with regards to our transfers. Guys, if you do enjoy this video today, please do leave a like, massively helps out the channel, and do subscribe if you are new around here and you want more FPL content in your face every single day. So with that said and done guys, let's have a quick look at the rules of the video. So buys are players you probably don't have but should consider bringing in, sells are players you probably have but should consider removing, keeps are players you probably have and you should actually keep these players, and finally avoids are pretty hyped up players right now, and I think you should avoid these players. Now I do want to clarify very quickly on the rules that just because a player is an avoid, for example, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't keep this player. It just means that you shouldn't buy the player. Similarly, you know, just because a player is a keep, it doesn't mean that you should automatically buy them. It just means that you shouldn't sell them. So be aware that players can fit into multiple categories, and I do want to make a note on avoids as well. Just because an avoid is, you know, you don't like the look of me saying a player is an avoid. That's fair enough. Like, the avoids are meant to be kind of interesting discussion points, and I completely understand if you don't agree with some of my avoids, to be fair, because they are supposed to be, you know, a little bit controversial. That's the kind of idea. Otherwise, I would just put, you know, Norwich defenders in the avoid category every week. But I want to spice it up. I want to keep things interesting, and I want to discuss some options that you might think are good options. I kind of think are good options, kind of, but actually maybe there are some reasons why you wouldn't go for them. I want to discuss those reasons. So I just wanted to put that one out there, just so you guys don't think I'm being a complete lunatic when I'm saying avoid players that actually look like kind of good FPL options. They're meant to look like kind of good FPL options. That's kind of half of the idea. But there you go, guys. Without further ado, let's look at some buys. So our first buy is Mo Salah. The time has come where it is absolutely crucial to get Salah back in your team. This double game week for Liverpool is the best double game week I have seen for a team in years. I really cannot stress enough how rare it is for a team to have such a great double game week. And to make things better, a player who could be considered the best attacker in world football is playing in this double. It's one of those massive no-brainer FPL decisions to be made here, right? There are a few decisions you will have to make in your FPL career that are easier than this. Bring him in, even if it costs you a -4. Sacrifice one of your other premiums. There is no better premium to go for right now than Salah. If you're already tripled up on Liverpool, you're going to have to sacrifice one of those other Liverpool players, as long as it's kind of not Trent. Get Salah in and captain him. And if you have the triple captainship available, triple captain him as well. This is the best opportunity I have seen for a triple captain, again, in years. Insane player, insane form, insane fixtures. Everything has fallen perfectly into place, other than one thing. Now, a lot of people are a little worried that Liverpool have a lot of fixtures going on at the moment. If you include the League Cup final and the Champions League, of course. There are concerns for some that there might be some resting, some rotation. Well, I'm more than happy to say that I'm not really worried about this. Salah is a super fit guy. He's kind of capable of playing every game. He hates being benched. He hates being rested. The best way to keep Salah happy and in top form is to just keep playing him. And even if you don't believe that, well, it's kind of like, who cares? I mean, think about it. If Salah was playing just one of Norwich or Leeds, you know, you would still be desperate to captain him. You'd still call him an essential player for the game week, and there would still be a case to triple captain him. Salah in 90 minutes against just one of these two teams can do more damage than most players can do in a double game week, right? And even if he was benched against one of the teams, you know, there's no way he stays on the bench, right? 90 minutes versus Norwich and 30 minutes versus Leeds, for example, that's still an insane opportunity for points. So what I'm trying to say is, even though I think Salah will play both, the worst case scenario is still a ridiculously good scenario to be in. So don't overthink this one. Just buy Salah. My second buy is WEGHORST. Okay, so obviously this comes with a huge caveat of assuming he is fit. I do think he will be fine, but I would personally like to wait and find out for certain before pulling the trigger on this transfer. But if he is fit, this is a really, really good one. Burnley have back-to-back double game weeks, so we probably want to grab at least one player from them. Brighton, Spurs, Palace and Leicester could spell a few goals for the Burnley boys. And who better to score them than one of Europe's best goal scorers? And I'm not even exaggerating exaggerating when I say that. Those of you who have been following this channel will know I really rate WEGHORST. He has a great goal scoring record. He's actually been giving Robert Lewandowski a run for his money in the Bundesliga Golden Boot race over the past few years. He's an established international with the Netherlands, and he's got a great scoring record when he was a little bit younger in the Eredivisie as well. This is a very good striker, and I'm seriously impressed that Burnley managed to sign him. So all of that is to say, the chances you may have seen WEGHORST miss, I don't think are indicative of the quality of the player. Sometimes good players miss shots, it happens. The real point is the quality of chances that Burnley have generated recently, and the quantity as well. A team not known for their creativity has actually been pretty creative in their last two tough games against United and Liverpool. And WEGHORST is the tip of the arrow, the focal point of the team. And guess what? WEGHORST is also a forward, a position that 26 game weeks in, we still can't find the solution to in FPL. Right now, when I look at all of the forwards in the game, I would say that WEGHORST is probably my #1 pick. Arguably even better than Harry Kane, just because of the double-double. Cornet is also a very good option too, but it's more difficult to fit him in as there are so many desirable midfielders. Rodriguez is a good price, but I think he may be rotated in some games with Cornet moving into the forward position. Overall, WEGHORST seems to be the solid Burnley attacker options. And when you kind of look at the Palace and Leicester double, particularly in game week 27, I think he could feast there. I really do. So, you know, get him in now for this double, have him ready for the following double. Onto some sales. We'll start you off with Bruno Fernandes. So I guess if we're looking for a Salah make weight a player to sell for Salah, this is a really obvious one now. Bruno out, Salah in. It makes so much sense. Now, I'm making this video before Man United's second double game week fixture, but I don't think that changes anything. Even if Bruno scores a hat-trick, it's just not going to change anything. Man United have looked really poor recently. It's quite worrying, to be honest. If it wasn't for their recent double game weeks, we probably wouldn't be so heavily invested in them right now. But here we are. It does look like United's good fixtures will soon come to an end. They have a good fixture in game week 26, but it's this single game week when we kind of really want to look for those doubles. And then from game week 28, they play City, Spurs, and then Liverpool. But even in the good fixtures before that, do we really trust United to get anything out of them right now? There's a poison in the club right now, or so it would seem anyway. It could be one of many things, you know, Maguire's bad form, Ronaldo's star quality maybe disrupting the team cohesion, allegations against certain players outside of football, poor management perhaps. I don't know, but I would really love to hear some opinions from Man United fans in the comments. Let me know what you think is going on with Manchester United at the moment, or do you think it's perhaps not as bad as I'm making it out to be? But I'd just like to know. Now, if you can manage to get Salah without selling Bruno and you think you can use a transfer more effectively somewhere else, that is an option. But I would also consider someone like Son or Jota as a direct replacement for Bruno if you have Salah already. Maybe even downgrade to Saka. There are plenty of players who I think will outperform Bruno in the coming game weeks. He's poor value unless on a double game week. His team is out of form and his fixtures are about to turn horrible. Same with Ronaldo. So I do think it's time to cut ties with the United boys and look at some other premiums, or spread the money to bolster your squad, focusing on those double game weeks, of course. The next sale is Gabriel Martinelli. Unfortunately, Martinelli's strange double yellow card last game week means, well, not last game week, the game week before, technically, isn't it? You know, that's going to mean that he's going to miss the first of Arsenal's 2 double game week fixtures. To make matters worse, he misses Brentford, which is the far easier of the 2 fixtures, creating essentially a single game week game against Wolves. Not, you know, that's not so great. That's one of the best defences in the league. That's not so good. So what we end up is a single game week against a horrible team, a likely blank for Martinelli in the double game week, and then after that, Arsenal have a blank game week, so a guaranteed blank in game week 27 as well. I know I do keep saying this, but if you are tripled up on Liverpool players, you will not be able to field a full 11 in game week 27 without using transfers or a free hit if you own Arsenal players too. So in a way, this could be a blessing in disguise. You can transfer out Martinelli for another midfielder who doubles in 26 and has a fixture in 27. This solves a big problem, which is exactly what transfers should do. Cornet, I would say, is a great replacement because of the double-double. You could also take a punt on someone like Elise or maybe Sarr. That's kind of a risky one, I guess. Rafinha or Dan James are options at Leeds potentially, or you could swap for another Arsenal midfielder in Saka if you have a plan set in place for game week 27. Maybe even Odegaard if you're a little bit of a cheapskate and you don't want to spend too much money. Either way, it feels like Martinelli has to go. One game against a solid Wolves team in a 2 game week period where all of these doubles are happening is just not good enough. Onto some keeps. We'll start you off with Diogo Jota. Now, unless selling Jota is literally your only way to get Salah, you absolutely must keep him. At present, he's one of the most sold FPL assets this game week. Now, I'm guessing that's because of fears of rotation, but honestly, I think people need to chill out on that a little bit. I think perhaps we're maybe overestimating how much Jota will actually be rotated. Yes, Jota is the most at risk he has been all season in terms of rotation. Salah and Mane returning from AFCON, Firmino fit and available, the signing of left winger Luis Diaz. They're all going to slightly eat into his minutes, but he's still probably first choice ahead of Firmino right now based on form. He's still going to get a lot of minutes, and that benching last game week, it wasn't even a rotation. It was just because he sustained a knock in training and wasn't quite ready to start. So again, just like I said with Salah, if Jota plays just one of these two fixtures, that's still amazing. That's still going to be a whole lot better than a lot of the double game week players. This is the league's second top goal scorer, remember. He's still a fantastic pick. There will be a little bit of rotation. There will be occasional benchings. But even if Jota plays 60 minutes sometimes or 30 in the other, that's more than enough. There's more than enough minutes for a player like this to deliver, if we're being real. We've seen it time and time and again. Jota doesn't need all of the minutes to get FPL returns. He returns when he starts. He returns off the bench. He always at least comes off the bench, even when he is benched. So there you go. Lots of things to be positive about there. Next keep is Emmanuel Dennis. Normally, I would not recommend keeping this kind of troll player, but I think there is a case to be made. Let's see if you guys agree or not. Now, obviously, he's been pretty poor recently, pretty poor form, seriously lacking in opportunities to score, which you can maybe forgive against a Brighton or a West Ham, but Norwich and Newcastle games before that, not so much. He's out of form. Watford are out of form. Things are not looking good. Would I be buying Dennis right now? No, I would not. However, he does have a double game week. A double game week against an Aston Villa team who have actually been kind of disappointing defensively kind of recently. And Crystal Palace that have just been conceding goals kind of all season. Now, I'm not saying Dennis or King for that matter are going to score against either of these teams necessarily, but if you're going to pick two fixtures to make it happen, these two are not so bad, really. A goal, assist, anything. It's totally possible, and FPL is a game of possibilities, right? And if it doesn't work out, then you've still got the 2 base points in each of the 2 games for a 4-pointer in total over the double. There's nothing wrong with a 4-pointer considering 99% of forwards in FPL are absolute 2-point merchants. Unless Dennis gets a yellow, but we won't talk about that. Positive vibes only. Time for some avoids. We've got Felipe Coutinho first. I guess first of all, Coutinho really needs to decide whether he's a good FPL asset or not, doesn't he? He's kind of being a bit trolly, scoring good and then scoring bad. Worldy performance followed by a disappearing act. Another worldy performance followed by another disappearing act. It's quite the wild ride, really. I imagine it's been quite frustrating for new owners. But anyway, although I would probably keep Coutinho if he was in my team, I wouldn't be buying him this week. For Game Week 26, he's an avoid primarily because of the single game week. With so many other great midfielders having a nice double game week this game week, it doesn't really make a lot of sense to go for Coutinho. And really, it should be as simple as that. It just seems so strange to buy a player who doesn't have a double game week this week unless, you're supremely confident in their form. Bowen, I also thought about putting in this slot, to be honest, but his form is so good that maybe that's more important. But I wouldn't personally buy Bowen either this game week. But for Coutinho, would you seriously rather play him than a double game week player this week? This Watford game, I don't think is as easy as it was. Watford do seem to have tightened up in defence since the arrival of Hodgson. Brighton away is a tough one. Southampton is an okay fixture, but nothing not mind-blowing there. And then after that, it's pretty downhill with a seriously rough fixture run for Villa. I actually think people will start hopping off and selling Villa players reasonably soon. So arguably, it's probably a little bit too late, too late in fact, to be going for Coutinho. I don't know, but certainly with the wealth of double game week midfielders available to you, Coutinho is very, very, very low on my personal shopping list and is therefore an avoid. Next avoid and final avoid is Alan SAINT-MAXIMIN. It's time for my weekly rant about Alan SAINT-MAXIMIN. Okay, fair enough. I've included him before as an avoid, but at least back then there was a case to be put forward of, well, there's no other forwards in the game, so you may as well pick Alan SAINT-MAXIMIN. But once again, Saint-Max is one of the most popular transfers in of the game week, despite the fact that he has a single away game against West Ham when everyone else has a double. After that is Brentford away, that's an okay fixture. But then we've got Brighton and Chelsea, followed shortly by Spurs and Wolves. it kind of feels like a really terrible time to jump on Newcastle players for your fantasy team, or at least it seems like it to me, and there's not a chance in hell that I'm going near Newcastle players right now. But rather than using this time to bash on SAINT-MAXIMIN, which I don't really want to do because I like him as a football player and I like him as a personality as well, even if I don't like him for FPL, I'm instead going to suggest some other forwards, since I think that's where the problem really lies. I think that's why people's minds are going to SAINT-MAXIMIN, because they can't really think of another forward to go for. So let me give you some suggestions, I guess, guys. So, as mentioned earlier, if fit, I do like WEGHORST a lot. But how about Jimenez? Jimenez plays Leicester as part of his double game week and has shown some good form recently, so could be a great striker to go for. 7.4 million is not too far out of reach either. I think Lacazette could be considered in this double, this decent double game week if you can cover him for game week 27. Arsenal have great fixtures until the end of the season, no other competitions, and 3 more guaranteed double game weeks, which will occur from game week 28 onwards due to unscheduled fixtures. And finally, what about Broja? If you're really tight on cash, fair enough, he doesn't have a double game week, which is off-putting, but he's one of those few Premier League forwards showing great form at the moment. He has a decent fixture against Leicester next, and an even better fixture against Norwich in 27. From then on, it's good fixtures galore for Southampton, so you've really got yourself a set-and-forget budget enabler striker. Those are a few forwards options I strongly prefer to SAINT-MAXIMIN right now, and since there's so many I prefer, it certifies the tricky winger as an avoid for game week 26. So, in summary, once again, our priority is double game week players. If you want a more in-depth rundown of double game week players, I'll really recommend. The video yesterday is the video for you. Go check out the video I made yesterday. I talked so much about all of the double game week players that I like the look of. But in general, even a crap player who will play twice is going to get you 4 points. 4 points is not a bad score. So keep that in mind and focus on the doubles. Buy them, keep them. And those players who have single game weeks, those are the players you should be more willing to sell and also avoid. Remember, Burnley have a double-double, so they could be a great team to target right now. And if you're planning on free hitting in game week 27, feel free to load up on those Arsenal players. If you're not free hitting, however, and are a little bit worried about having enough transfers to field a full 11 in 27, maybe avoid Arsenal players. And there you have it. Buy, sell, keep, avoid for game week 26. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. If you did enjoy what you saw today, please do leave a like. Please do subscribe as well if you're around here. That would be awesome. And I said at the beginning of the video, but I'll also say at the end of the video. Guys, a quick note. I am going to be streaming tonight. If you're watching this before the Manchester United-Brighton game, I don't know when this is going to be out, but that's possible. If you're watching this video before that game is finished, I will be streaming after that game finishes, which is going to be at like 10 PM UK time. If that game has already happened and the stream has already happened, however, feel free to go check out the stream replay. I'm sure there's going to be loads of good stuff there. We're going to talk all about strategy in the coming game weeks, so I think it's going to be a good one, well worth a watch. So yeah, keep an eye out for that one. But aside from that, guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you guys on the stream, and I will see you later, mates. Bye bye.